Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We can't have a normal day, can we? Even when the Celtic players are on international duty and Celtic have stopped for the international break, the media and us as fans always finds a way to create some controversial topic of conversation. So today, we're going to have a wee chinwag about some of the things that I've seen today relating to some of our players, and we're going to try and look at it in a level-headed manner. So bear with me as we try and do that. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. Apologies for the late video tonight. Apologies if I come across a bit more tired or dull. I'm just shattered. I'm absolutely knackered. So if any of the normal enthusiasm is gone from today's video, that's the reason why. But Celtic have left me lots to talk about. A couple of interviews, a couple of posts here and there have created some conversation for us, which is nice considering the international breaks are usually quiet. But we've got to keep going. So let's talk about a few things, shall we? Starting off with Matt O'Riley. Is he staying? Is he going? That seems to be the topic right now. I've had people mailing me asking what's the situation with Matt O'Riley, and I'm like, I never knew there was a situation with Matt O'Riley. As far as I'm aware, he's a Celtic player and he's signed a new contract and he's happy here at the club. But after one particular article that broke, I think, late last night, it seems that his Celtic future has been thrown in the air for questioning. So we're going to have a look at that. We're going to have a look at the article and the quotes in question and have a look at a bit of a deeper dive into what it actually is. So Football Scotland, part of the Daily Record group, they published this article last night, or this morning even, saying Matt O'Riley sparks Celtic transfer exit fears as the midfielder is ready for next step. Which was based on an interview that was taken, going off the headline of this article anyway, a bit out of context. Here was Matt O'Riley's comments. This was the comment that has thrown everyone into frenzy. I have played in the Champions League against many good teams and feel I am ready to take the next step. But I'm already playing for a good team. It's hard to say what is going to happen. So that was the clip that was taken out of the interview by Football Insider, which has led Celtic fans to believe that he's ready for the next step outside of Celtic, when I think if you do a bit of deep diving and a bit of reading of your own into the context of these quotes, I think he's talking about the Danish national team. He's ready to take the next step from playing for that under-21 side, from being a squad player to actually playing for Denmark. And even if it's not what it means, we're going to come on to it in a moment, we're going to discuss it all. Absolutely nothing wrong with his comments, but it's threw Celtic fans into a frenzy because the media have spun this narrative that he's ready to go, he's ready to leave. The guy just signed a contract, which, you know, wholeheartedly I can accept that doesn't mean he's staying here forever and ever, amen. He's not going to be here till the end of time. But he's just signed a new contract. He looks really happy at the club. Brendan Rodgers is progressing really, really nicely with him. It's clear to see in this article that he's playing for a good team. He doesn't know what's happening next. Nobody knows what's happening next. So all of these theories that are getting thrown into the air now, that he's ready to move on in January or he's going to take the first opportunity he gets, is absolutely nonsense. He's looking for that next step to play for the Danish national team. If you read further into the article, he talks about the relationship with his grandmother. And he's very open, very honest in saying that he doesn't think his grandmother's going to have the longest time left here to see him play for Denmark. And that's why he's so eager to take that next step. Read on the article, read on the interview, and you'll see these things. But the media is spinning the headlines straight away to get their clicks and making it out that he's going to be off in January because he's ready for that next step at club level. I think we can all sit down and be honest. If you're a realistic-minded Celtic fan, you can sit down here and be honest and say Matt O'Riley's not going to be here forever. Just like any other Celtic player who comes in and performs well above the expectations or standards of the Scottish Premiership, they will move on. They will find a move. It's happened with Virgil van Dijk. It's happened with Kieran Tierney. It's happened with Moussa Dembele. It's happened with Odsonne Edouard. They move on. They find these big moves, whether it be to the English Premier League, whether it be overseas. The move will come for them eventually. It might be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years into their Celtic deal. Eventually they'll move on. I've accepted that Matt O'Riley's not going to be here forever because he's too good to be here forever. He's a fantastic footballer. He's right at the peak of his form right now, the best he's probably played since signing for Celtic. It's understandable that he will attract interest from elsewhere. Christ, there was interest in him, on him in deadline day when Leeds and Southampton were looking at the possibility of signing Matt O'Riley. That was swiftly addressed by Celtic. They gave him a new contract. He signed a new contract. We have put ourselves in the best possible position for the day that Matt O'Riley does leave this club. But this interview and this headline that you've all seen this morning doesn't mean that that's happening anytime soon. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here on this seat either and guarantee you that Matt O'Riley's going to be here past January or is going to be here next season. I've accepted deep down that in the summer there's a realistic chance that he will leave the club. Do I think that it's going to be as soon as January? No, but I can't guarantee that doesn't happen. It just means that you shouldn't take these headlines for what they are, as clickbait, as an attempt to stir your emotion. That's just the job of the journalists, I'm afraid, and that's exactly what they're doing with this headline. Matt O'Riley is someone who Celtic will let leave the club when the right deal comes in, when they get the money they think they should for him. And right now, Celtic are looking at a player who, in the current market, could be attracting £25-30 million. And unless Celtic get that in January, and it's also a move that Matt O'Riley likes the look of, that's not going to happen anytime soon, I don't think. I think we're still another half a season away from that. I think Celtic will also be determined to make sure he stays until they find someone who can come in and take his role. I think it's all a bit too soon to be latching on to this idea that he's off at the first opportunity. You've just got to read these articles and dig deeper for the context, because if you live your life on the headlines, then you're going to be on the edge of a heart attack for the rest of your days. The best thing for Celtic at this moment in time is Matt O'Riley performing the way he has been all season. He is joint top scorer at the moment. He's got 6 goals in the league. He has been the maestro in the middle of the park, making everything happen. He's been the ticking heart of the side, you could say. And if he keeps playing like that, we are going to keep winning games. We're going to keep getting points, and ultimately it puts the valuation of the player up as well. We'll get more money when the day comes he does leave the club. So I want him to keep performing. I want him to be here as long as possible. I wouldn't be rushing him out the door in the summer either. I'd be trying to keep another year out of him at least. But there's only so much fighting a club like Celtic can do. If the right move comes calling, he will leave. But he keeps playing well. He's rightly going to be thinking about the next step. And I've never held grudges against players for that. Even if, listen, I'd be disappointed if it's, itchy nose. I'd be disappointed if he was to leave in January. I don't think it's going to happen. I'd be disappointed. But it's also understandable, because Celtic isn't the end-all be-all for these players. I accepted that a long time ago, and I hate having this conversation every year, because there's always one player this comes up about. In the summer it was Rio Hatate, it was Jota. Before that it was, Edouard a couple of years ago. It happens all the time. Celtic isn't the end all be all. These guys don't grow up dreaming of playing for Celtic. They dream of becoming professional footballers at the highest level. Celtic, sadly, anymore, isn't the highest level. So, he's doing well. He's adapted well to the Champions League, and he's still got that opportunity for one more season in it. And that's an advantage that we have over other sides as well. Think of a side like Leeds, a side like Southampton. If they end up back in the Premier League, they still don't have that drawing power of European football. So we've still got the kind of the tools there to help O'Riley develop and stay loyal to Celtic for another year or so. But just don't get your knickers in a twist. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Of course, Celtic have set themselves up quite nicely in the middle of the park with players for an emergency situation like O'Riley leaving. So it's not the end of the world. However, replacing a player of his quality is difficult. There's no denying that. But always remember, it's not the end of the world. And we've been here a million times. It's not our first rodeo. Players like, oh no, how are we ever going to replace them? And then, maybe not as soon as you'd like, we do replace them. We have another player to rant and rave about. And Brendan Rodgers, he was in the media over the weekend after the result of the weekend as well, talk about Odin Thiago Holm and how promising he looks and how impressed he is by Odin Thiago Holm. For all you know, you've got the Matt O'Riley replacement sitting there, Odin Thiago Holm. Remember, when we brought Matt O'Riley into the club, it was a £1.5 million signing from MK Dons. And also remember, he wasn't even our first choice. We wanted Riley McGree. And Riley McGree knocked us back for Middlesbrough. And then Matt O'Riley came in. Sheer coincidence we even have him here. The point I'm trying to make is, there is always going to be somebody coming in to take the place, fill the boots, and impress you even more. It's a cycle. It's evolution. Football is meant to evolve. We've got players here. We'll have players in the future. It's not the end of the world even if he does go. But on that note, Matt, don't be packing your bags anytime soon, son. I think I've covered most of what I wanted to cover in this video. I said there was a few things to talk about. It was mainly just that. But talking about contracts, I've seen there's been a lot of debate this morning on the potential renewal of Liam Scales, a new contract for him. which, you know, I've seen a lot of people complain about, really, and be sort of negative about. I don't think there's any harm in giving Scales a contract. I don't think that a contract necessarily means that he is a starting player at Celtic forever either, because I see that seems to be the main debate point, that, oh, this could be a purple patch, and, you know, he might not be as good as this forever. Why should we give him a new contract? But even if he's not starting games forever, he's now showed that I think we can believe in him enough to be a good option at Celtic and be a squad option. I don't have a problem with Celtic giving Liam Scales a contract. But I guess we can talk about that more in a live stream or such through the week. But I'm going to leave things off here today. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know your opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.